Imagine standing on the Giza Plateau more than 4,500 years ago. The sun has barely risen above the horizon, yet the desert is already alive with activity. Hundreds of boats glide silently through canals connected to the Nile. Teams of workers unload enormous limestone blocks. Stone cutters shape fresh rock with copper chisels and dolerite pounding stones. Surveyors stretch ropes across the ground, checking measurements with astonishing precision. Cooks prepare thousands of loaves of bread. Brewers fill enormous jars with beer. Foremen organize crews that move like parts of a perfectly designed machine. Now forget everything Hollywood has taught you. Forget the endless rows of starving slaves chained together. Forget soldiers cracking whips. Forget the angry pharaoh watching from a golden throne, because according to modern archaeology, almost every part of that famous image is wrong. The truth is far more fascinating. The Great Pyramid is not only one of the greatest engineering achievements in history, it is also one of history's most misunderstood construction projects, and the biggest myth surrounding it has survived for thousands of years. The surprising part is that archaeologists now have enough evidence to tell a very different story. The Great Pyramid was built during the reign of Pharaoh Khufu around 2560 BCE. When it was completed, it stood nearly 146 meters tall. For almost 38 centuries, no building on Earth surpassed its height. Think about that. The tallest structure on the planet remained unbeatable longer than the Roman Empire existed, longer than Christianity has existed, longer than almost every modern nation has been alive. Even today, millions of visitors stand before it asking exactly the same question. How? How could people living thousands of years before electricity, steel cranes, engines, or computers build something this enormous? The pyramid contains approximately 2.3 million stone blocks. Most weigh between 2 and 3 tons. Some granite beams inside the king's chamber weigh over 70 tons. The entire monument weighs nearly 6 million tons. Looking at those numbers, many people immediately reach one conclusion. Surely this required an army of slaves. That idea became deeply rooted in popular culture. Movies repeated it. Television documentaries repeated it. School textbooks repeated it. Eventually, almost everyone accepted it as historical fact. But historians have learned something important. A story repeated many times is not automatically true. It must be supported by evidence. And when archaeologists began looking for evidence, they found something unexpected. The first clue appeared beneath the desert sands near the pyramids themselves. During the 1990s, archaeologist Mark Lenner and his team uncovered the remains of an enormous workers' settlement just south of the Giza Plateau. What they discovered completely changed the conversation. Instead of crowded prison camps, they found an organized town. There were long sleeping galleries for workers, large bakeries capable of producing thousands of loaves every day, breweries making huge quantities of beer, administrative buildings, storage facilities, workshops, medical areas, even evidence of carefully planned streets. This wasn't a place where disposable slaves were kept alive just long enough to work. It looked like a permanent construction headquarters. Then came another discovery: animal bones. Lots of them. Archaeologists recovered tens of thousands of bones from cattle, sheep, and goats. The amount of meat consumed at the site surprised researchers. Ordinary Egyptian farmers rarely enjoyed beef regularly, yet these workers apparently received protein-rich diets that would have been considered excellent by ancient standards. Experts estimated that thousands of kilograms of meat were supplied every day. Why would a king spend enormous resources feeding slaves so well? The evidence simply didn't fit the old story. Then researchers made another remarkable discovery. The workers had cemeteries, not hidden graves, not mass burials, proper cemeteries. Some workers were buried close to the pyramids themselves. Their graves followed Egyptian religious traditions. Some skeletons showed signs of healed broken bones. That detail may sound small, but it tells an important story. A broken leg in ancient times could easily mean death if someone was abandoned. Instead, these individuals survived long enough for their injuries to heal. Someone cared for them, someone fed them, someone protected them until they recovered. That isn't how disposable slave labor usually works. It suggests these workers had value. Many archaeologists now believe the pyramid builders consisted of skilled craftsmen, supported by rotating labor crews drawn from farming communities across Egypt. Every year the Nile flooded the fields. During the flood season, farming temporarily stopped. Instead of remaining unemployed, many farmers likely worked on state construction projects. In return, they received food, housing, clothing, and perhaps tax relief. Building the king's pyramid became both a national duty and an opportunity. It was one of the largest public works projects the ancient world had ever seen. Even the names of some work gangs have survived. Graffiti discovered inside the Great Pyramid includes names such as the Friends of Khufu. Another crew proudly called themselves the Drunkards of Menkaure. These names sound less like terrified slaves and more like teams taking pride in their work. But solving one mystery created another. Even if the workers were free, how did they actually move millions of stones? For centuries, nobody knew. Then archaeology produced one of its greatest discoveries. In 2013, researchers excavating the ancient harbor of Wadi al-Jarf on Egypt's Red Sea coast uncovered hundreds of papyrus fragments. Among them was something extraordinary: the personal diary of an Egyptian official named Merer. It is currently the oldest surviving papyrus diary ever discovered. Merer wasn't writing history. He was simply recording his daily work, and that makes his account incredibly valuable. According to his diary, his crew transported fine white limestone from the quarries at Tura. The stone traveled by wooden boats along the Nile. Then it continued through canals leading toward Giza. Merer even recorded the number of trips his crew completed. For the first time, archaeologists possessed a first-hand account, written by someone directly involved in the construction effort. It confirmed that Egypt had developed an impressive transportation network. The Nile was not just a river. It was a giant highway. Modern satellite imaging and geological research have revealed evidence that an ancient branch of the Nile once flowed much closer to the Giza Plateau than it does today. Researchers call it the Khufu branch. During pyramid construction, boats carrying heavy stone could travel surprisingly close to the building site. That discovery explains a mystery that puzzled historians for generations. The Egyptians weren't dragging every stone across endless desert sand. They brought many of them by water, dramatically reducing the effort required. Even so, moving multi-ton blocks from the harbor to the pyramid remained an enormous challenge. Ancient Egyptian tomb paintings provide another clue. They show workers pulling massive statues on wooden sledges, while another worker pours water onto the sand in front of them. For many years, nobody understood why. Then physicists tested the idea. Experiments showed that slightly wet sand becomes firmer. It reduces friction. The sled slides more easily. Too much water creates mud. Too little changes nothing. but just the right amount can reduce the pulling force significantly. A simple bucket of water may have saved thousands of hours of labor. Sometimes the most brilliant engineering solutions are also the simplest. The next challenge was lifting stones higher and higher as the pyramid grew. This remains one of archaeology's greatest unsolved questions. The traditional explanation involves massive straight ramps built from mud brick and limestone rubble. The problem is mathematics. A ramp reaching the top at a gentle slope would have needed enormous amounts of material, possibly more than the pyramid itself. Because of this, many researchers now believe multiple ramp systems were used. Straight ramps near the beginning, switchback ramps climbing the sides, perhaps spiral ramps around the structure. Some engineers even suggest internal ramps hidden inside the pyramid during later construction stages. No single theory explains every detail, but every year new discoveries narrow the possibilities. One thing becomes increasingly clear. Nothing requires impossible technology. Nothing requires magic. Nothing requires lost civilizations. And certainly nothing requires aliens. That idea, although popular on television and the internet, has no archaeological evidence supporting it. Everything discovered so far points toward human intelligence, human organization, human persistence, human engineering. Perhaps the greatest lesson of the Great Pyramid is not about ancient Egypt at all. It is about us. Modern people often underestimate ancient civilizations because they lacked our machines. But intelligence is not measured by electricity. Planning does not require computers. Precision does not require lasers. Given enough knowledge, enough organization, and enough determination, human beings can accomplish extraordinary things. The Great Pyramid proves exactly that. It wasn't built overnight. It wasn't built by magic. It wasn't built by aliens. And according to the strongest archaeological evidence available today, it wasn't built by vast armies of abused slaves either. It was built by thousands of skilled workers, engineers, craftsmen, sailors, surveyors, cooks, administrators, and laborers working together for decades toward a single goal. That may not sound as dramatic as the old legend, but it is far more impressive, because the real story reminds us that one of humanity's greatest wonders was created not by mythical beings, but by ordinary people who achieved something so extraordinary that thousands of years later, the world still struggles to believe humans could have done it alone. History is full of mysteries, but the truth is often even more fascinating than the myths. If you want more evidence-based stories about ancient civilizations, forgotten technologies, and the secrets of our past, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the next discovery. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next journey through history.